It's the Luke and Pete Show on a Thursday. I'm Pete Donaldson. I'm joined by Mr. Lukey Moore. Luke, I have decided I'm going to start a flippin' cult.
Okay. Some would say that you have with this show.
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
A battery cult.
we're obsessed with batteries. We're yet to turn this into money or a charitable organisation,
Endeavour.
but one day we will, I think.
What are you going to do? What's going to be the hallmark of the cult?
Well, the Twin Flames universe I've become very obsessed with.
What's that?
Obsessed in the sense of I've watched one documentary about it. I've invested 2.5 hours into it. There's a Netflix documentary about Twin Flames, where these two people have started what is effectively a cult. Jeff and Shalea Devine. They are two people who are just schlubby-looking people who don't seem like they're able to administer a cult, but they managed it. And there's a TV show about it. It started in 2017, obviously took hold during lockdown. And basically, they say through their infomercials, their guides online, their little Zoom TED Talks, about how in every world there are twin flames that should be together. You know what I mean? So if you have...
Like me and you.
Me and you, yeah, exactly. We were pulled together by some unknown, unseen force, and it was meant to be, etc. So, what actually happened is a lot of these, mainly young women, joined this organisation, this kind of cult, this church, and they commit crimes of passion.
Colour me surprised.
So they all get together and they are cajoled, coerced, convinced that a failed relationship that they left behind some time ago needs to be revisited.
Oh my God, that's a terrible idea. It's not the worst idea.
Exclusion orders, kind of, what is it when you get like an ASBO where people can't get...
Restraining order.
Restraining orders. That means nothing in the Twin Flames universe. You simply have to go back and bother the person who didn't want to be with you until you batter them over the head
And is
with
this on
your
telly,
love.
you said?
It's on telly. It's like a documentary about three. It's a documentary about how it's a cult and how these poor women go. These adorable young people who are like 19, 20, who just want to find love. And these two pricks just take advantage of that fact and charge them $6,000, $7,000 a year to go on these kind of courses on how to...
So it's basically like Nexium then, that Nexium cult.
Yeah, but they're manifesting their own relationships. And the thing that gets me is, Luke, the main guy who's this kind of toxic men's rights
It looks
guy.
like Lad Baby gone wrong.
All right. Yeah, it's a bit Lad Baby. They basically do these things. And he's kind of like all about men are the most powerful things, and the woman is just going, I'll say anything to be kept in Chanel kind of vibes. And they're just like really, even in the core of kind of like cults, like this leader is not a very measured or thoughtful man. He is.
Is he charismatic?
He's not very charismatic. He's just a dickhead, like a massive dickhead. It's well worth a watch. Twin Flames on Netflix. It's an astonishing example of the internet making heroes out of absolute losers.
So it's called Escaping Twin Flames, apparently.
Escaping Twin Flames. An intense variation of a soulmate. We've all got them, apparently.
It's apparently from the same director as the Nexium cult documentary.
Probably is. I mean, there's probably enough of these kind of things because they're making a lot of money off of people's need for companionship, and it gets to a point where he tries about 5 or 6 different harebrained schemes to make a load of money, like proper like nonsense, and then obviously they sashay. By the end of the documentary, they sashay into being a legitimate church, which in America is obviously big business.
Yeah, it's kind of depressingly easy to do that in some parts of the United States. I think there's a special place reserved in hell for people who set about their business to make themselves wealthy by exploiting the frailties and insecurities of other human beings. You know, whether you're a kind of clairvoyant or a kind of,
Spoken like a true Pompey fan.
Well, I think they're right at the fucking top of the list. But you know,
Escaping Portsmouth. Luke
I
Miller.
saw. I do sometimes, under advice and under kind of caution, I do watch or listen to the occasional kind of Joe Rogan, and the one with Darren Brown's really interesting,
Right.
because what Darren Brown's able. Do you know who Darren Brown is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a deconstructor of this type of stuff, and he deconstructs it, I believe, by knowing how to do it, right? So it's a great thing he did where he I don't know if you've ever seen it, but he plays chess against 11 or 12 other grandmasters.
Right.
12 chess grandmasters, and he beats like 6 of them. And the reason the way he's able to do it is everyone thinks it's amazing and the rest of it, and then he reveals how he does it, and all he did is he just memorized the move from the chess grandmaster before. So actually he's just been a conduit. They're playing each other.
Right.
And
But
he's
would
the
that
conduit
not,
between them.
would you not get yourself into a terrible muddle where you would just do the, I guess if you're mirroring everything.
No, but
that's going on.
you're mirroring it, and it's basically just a trick of memory. It's
Right.
not about being good at chess.
Clever.
Like, yeah.
Right.
But anyway, that's just one example. But he talks a lot on that Rogan podcast about how it's being done and how hypnotism is done and all the rest of it. It's about interrupting processes and learning a little bit about the brain and really just moving on very quickly from people who aren't that suggestible, etc., etc. It's about cold reading, which is basically what psychic mediums are, like just essentially picking up on little things and practicing that, and then just exploiting the shit out of people who don't question it because they're so vulnerable, right?
It's probably so easy to do it now in the age of, I mean, if you were a clairvoyant and you had people attending a show that you were doing, I mean, just get the list of people who bought tickets and then get online and have a look.
Yeah, that's probably what they do, yeah.
If you go to one clairvoyant, if you go to someone's Facebook profile, they'll have, and they go into it, and you're sort of wondering, oh, is it that person or is it that person? Chances are they're going to have like a love of mystical things on their Facebook.
But even if you're just going to
profile.
even if you're buying a ticket for that kind of thing, you're open to it.
Yeah, but
Otherwise,
like
why
I
would
think,
you?
but you could literally research the person. You could literally research. I'm getting this name, and it's the person that they've named on their Facebook page.
But like
it's all
some
just-
of them are so obvious. Like I mean, like there was one I saw maybe on YouTube where the medium is saying, "I'm looking for someone who had a picture of a dog in their hallway growing up." So a few people put their hands up, and then he says, "Oh yeah, and was it a picture of your own dog?" And the person says, "No," and he says, "Okay, I'm just getting a picture in the hallway." And then for some reason they say something like, "Oh, there was a picture of a Spitfire in the hallway in my house growing up," and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's it, yeah." And presumably you had someone who fought in the war. And it's like, well, anyone can fucking say that. I mean, you know, any family is going to be able to find someone really that had someone that fought in the war of that generation, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's just all very kind of basic stuff. But anyway, it's pretty interesting. And I think what I get the impression about, because I once saw Darren Brown when I was out in town once. I was having a beer and I went somewhere else further out of town, and I saw Darren Brown in the back of one of those tuk-tuks along quite a main road, nowhere near the centre of town. And it made me think like he maybe kind of hypnotised the guy to just cycle him home, because they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere other than the centre of town.
They've got to be returned, yeah.
But what I like about Darren Brown is that I firmly believe that he could definitely use those powers for evil.
Yeah.
And he
I
doesn't.
mean, is he not now on the old telly?
But what's really interesting is how he kind of talks to the people that he hypnotizes afterwards. And he says what's really interesting is that their descriptions of what they experienced are all actually quite different.
Yeah.
So some of them will say, "Oh, it was a bit of fun and I've had a few beers, so I just went along with it." Some of them will say, you know, "I realised what you were doing, but I didn't really feel like I could stop it. I didn't have the power to stop." And then the rarest, most interesting ones are the ones who say, like, "I was totally convinced that like Elvis was, you know, having a beer with me," kind of thing. You know, it's like it's quite fascinating how the human brain kind of works on that type of stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think you'd be? I mean, you dressed like a hypnotist, famously. Do you think you'd be easily hypnotised?
No, I don't think I would. I think I would just an unhealthy distrust of anyone, of the showman. I don't like magic. I don't like any of that nonsense, really.
Have you put it on any of your appeals for speeding tickets?
What, you sorcerers, only
I was
God can judge me,
hypnotised.
sorcerer. I wrote that on my little reply.
I don't observe this court.
I don't bother the court. I don't
that's
respect any of
funny.
this shit.